The Baseball Challenge League, or BC League, is one of Japan's two main independent leagues, also the newest, having just launched back in 2006. The other one is the Shikoku Island League, which I did a video about just as the season was getting started back in the spring. I'm doing this one about the BC League now because the regular season just came to an end last week, and the playoffs start tomorrow. Unlike the Shikoku League, which is comprised of 6 teams on the small island of Shikoku, the BC League consists of 12 teams covering a much larger area on the main island of Honshu. Another difference is that while Shikoku doesn't have any NPB teams, BC League clubs often play right next to NPB cities, and this allows them to play interleague matches with the farm teams. In the past, the league was split into 2 divisions called Future East and Advanced West. They played a 72-game schedule from spring to fall in a split-season format. The second half season winners met in a playoff, and the winner from each division moved on to the League Championship Series. However, this year they are playing in 3 divisions, East, West, and Central, to reduce traveling, and about 60 games were played with no split season. BC teams don't play all their games on a single home field. Instead, they travel from city to city within their prefecture. For this reason, the teams are named for their prefecture and not for any city. But they do have one city they'll play in more than the others. So in this video, when I mention a team's home field, I mean they play about half of their home games there. It's common for young star players from the BC League to sign with NPB teams, and for once great NPB players to play their final years in the BC League. It's also a good place for retired NPB players to start their coaching careers. The BC League champion moves on to play in the Japan Independent League Grand Championship against the Shikoku Island League champion. The Shikoku League has the advantage, claiming 8 of the 13 Grand Championships, but they won it the first 4 times it took place. BC League has been more successful in recent years. Now I'd like to introduce the 12 teams of the BC League. I'll talk about how each team has performed in the past and the big name players, if any, that have played there. Then I'll tell about how they did this year. So it'll be half team history, half 2021 season review. Let's start in the East. These 4 teams are all located in the northern Kanto region, which includes the northern part of the Tokyo metro area. All of these teams are quite new, being established in the last 6 years. The Saitama Musashi Heat Bears play in the city of Kumagaya in Saitama Prefecture. Same prefecture as the Seibu Lions, but different city. This team debuted in 2015 and got off to a good start, finishing second in the season's first half. But they had a losing record in the second half, and went on to post a losing record in the first and second halves of every season from 2016 to 2019, never finishing higher than third in what was usually a 5-team division. In 2020, former Major League relief pitcher Junichi Tazawa joined the team, which was a great way to attract fans, but they still finished under 500, going 24-27 in the single-season format. But in 2021, they finally found some success, 33 wins, 22 losses, and 5 ties, as they captured their first ever division title. Statistically, they weren't a dominant team, 6th in team ERA, runs scored, team batting, and home runs. In a league of 12 teams, that sounds pretty average. Their one strength was stolen bases, leading the league with 164. But it didn't result in a lot of runs scored. They just ended up on the right side of the score in most games. Ensuring that was their closer, 24-year-old Kosuke Riko, who led the league with 17 saves. And they had one of the league's best batters. Infielder Hiroshi Katayama had a .361 average, 3rd best in BC League. This was Katayama's 4th year in Saitama. Prior to that, he had spent 10 years in the Rakuten Eagles system. He was a pitcher for most of his time there, only converting to a hitter in the last 2 years with the Eagles. Their home is Kumagaya Sakura Sports Park, where the official seating capacity is 24,000. The second place team in the East was the Tochigi Golden Braves, who finished 2 games behind Saitama. They've only been around since 2017, but have had a lot of success and seen a number of star players. In 2018, they welcomed Shuichi Murata, a 16-year NPB veteran for the Baystars and Giants, a 2-time All-Star with 360 career home runs. He announced his retirement at the conclusion of the final game of the 2018 season in Tochigi, and is now a member of the Yomiuri Giants coaching staff. In 2019, they were second-half champions and went on to win the league championship in only their 3rd year of existence. Tsuyoshi Nishioka was on this team, a 5-time NPB All-Star and batting champion, and a 2-year Major League player. In 2020, they signed 2 more big names. Yoshihisa Naruse, who came from Tochigi originally, joined the Golden Braves as pitcher and coach, after a 16-year NPB career, where he once won the ERA title. And an even bigger name, Munenori Kawasaki, an NPB All-Star and MLB veteran. Kawasaki, Naruse, and Nishioka are still members of the team in 2021. This year they were 4th in runs scored, 7th in team ERA, a well-balanced team, no individuals in the top 5 in any major category. Most of their home games are played at Oyama Sports Park, capacity 5,500, though they've managed to cram almost 7,000 fans in there before. Located in Oyama, Tochigi, about 15 minutes from where I live. I did a very informal video of a game I attended there about a year ago. Link is in the description for that. Number 3 in the East was the Kanagawa Future Dreams, 2 games over 500, 4.5 games out of first. Kanagawa is the prefecture where the Yokohama DNA Baystars play. This is the league's newest team. 2020 was their first year, but they didn't play like a usual first-year team. 34 wins, 17 losses, on their way to the league title. In 2021, they managed a winning record despite ranking 8th in runs scored and 9th in team ERA. They've got a couple of pitchers with NPB experience. Masahiro Inui pitched for the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters and the Giants from 2011 to 2017, and Hayato Takagi was a Giants and Seibu Lions pitcher from 2015 to 2019. Several more players come over from the DNA Baystar system. Their usual home field is the 16,000 capacity Batting Palace Aiseki Stadium in the beachside city of Hiratsuka. The last place team in the East this year was the Ibaraki Astro Planets, another new team that launched in 2019. But unlike the last two, they have not seen any success on the field. 12 wins, 50 losses in the 2019 season, 7 and 49 in 2020. This year was much better, 21, 34, and 8. A big improvement, but still 12 games out and a last place finish. Team ERA was the worst in the East, third worst in all of BC League. But they ranked 6th in runs scored and 3rd in home runs, the most of any East Division team. 22-year-old outfielder Akiyuki Yamanaka hit 10 homers, third most in the league. Dariel Alvarez, a former Baltimore Orioles outfielder, also played in LMB and LMP, was a member of the Astro Planets this year, and he was doing well enough to get noticed by NPB's SoftBank Hawks. They signed him at mid-season, and that's where he's playing now. Couple other foreign players worth mentioning. Venezuelan catcher Ramon Cabrera, formerly of the Cincinnati Reds, now works behind the plate in Ibaraki. Another one is Brazilian Rafael Fernandez. He previously pitched for the Tokyo Yakult Swallows. The Astro Planets play all around Ibaraki, but in 2021 most games were played at Kasama Sports Park baseball field. Now let's look at the Central. Sorry, couldn't find a better picture. This division spans from the northeast of Honshu Island through the Kanto area to the west coast. Unlike in the east, most of these teams are as old as the league itself. The Central champions for the 2021 season are the Gunma Diamond Pegasus. They are the most successful of all Central teams and one of the winningest of all BC League teams. 8 division titles, 14 half-season titles, and 4 league championships. In 2021, they were 38, 19, and 9, the most wins and highest winning percentage of any BC League team. They were mostly a hitting team this year, second in team batting, tied for second in runs scored. 21-year-old outfielder Koichi Okamura won the league batting title with a .372 average. As a team, they were tied for the league's highest home run total. Their .391 team ERA ranked 5th. They rely on their bullpen more than most teams do. One really famous player of the past was Alex Ramirez. After starting his career with the Cleveland Indians, Ramirez went on to play for the Swallows, Giants, and Baystars of NPB, an 8-time All-Star and 2-time MVP. After retiring as a player in 2013, he played the 2014 season in Gunma, right before becoming manager of the Baystars. Their home is the Takasaki City Jonan Baseball Stadium in Takasaki, Gunma. This 12,000 capacity ballpark was built in 1936. A very close runner-up in the Central was the Shinano Serows. They finished just one game behind Gunma with the second best record in the BCL and earned the one and only wild card to the playoffs. One of the league's original teams, since 2007 they've only claimed one league title, that coming in 2017. But they've been one of the best teams in recent years, winning division titles in 2019 and 2020, and just missing out on it this year. More of a hitting team, Shinano was first in team batting, tied with Gunma for first in home runs, and tied with them for second in scoring. 23-year-old outfielder Hiroki Inoue topped the league with a .465 on-base percentage, 5th in batting, and tied for 3rd with 10 home runs. Team ERA was the league's 3rd best at .384. 25-year-old left-hander Shunta Sawatari was their do-everything starter, leading the team in ERA, wins, innings, and strikeouts. The Shinano Serows play in Nagano Prefecture. Home ground is the 30,000 capacity Nagano Olympic Stadium, site of the opening and closing ceremonies of the 1998 Winter Olympics. A very distant 3rd in the Central this year was the Niigata Albirex Baseball Club, 20 games under 500, 19.5 games out of first. Another founding member of the BCL, they've won 2 league titles in 2012 and 2015. They were last in home runs as a team, but 8th in team batting and runs scored. Even worse was their pitching, second from the bottom with a .588 team ERA. No individuals in the top 5 in any major category. Niigata Prefecture is on the west coast of Honshu Island. Home field for the Albirex is the 30,000-seat Niigata Prefectural Baseball Stadium, one of the few BCL parks with the standard 400 feet to center. Most of the league's ballparks fall short of that. It was the site of the 2010 NPB All-Star Game and is an annual host of NPB games. Bottom of the Central belonged to the Fukushima Red Hopes, a game and a half behind Niigata. At 16, 39, and 4, they had the league's worst record. This team has only been around since 2015, so it's easily the newest team in the division. They won the division for the second half in their first season, and have finished second a number of times since then. No league title yet. From 2015 to 2017, infielder Akinori Iwamura was a member of the Red Hopes. That was at the end of his professional career that included 13 years in NPB and 5 years in MLB. A member of both of Japan's WBC championship teams, and the Tampa Bay Rays 2009 World Series team. He is now the team's manager. Surprisingly, they had the league's fourth best team batting in 2021 with a .292 team average, and tied for second in doubles, but that didn't result in a lot of runs scored, which they ranked ninth in. Their best hitter was 26-year-old Yuki Kikuna, who was second in the BCL in average and fourth in on-base percentage. As you can probably guess, their pitching was the reason they lost so much. Team ERA was .622, the league's worst. Fukushima is located in the Tohoku, or northeast region of the island. It's one of the country's biggest prefectures, and the Red Hopes play all over it, not really favoring one ballpark. Now let's move over to the west. These four teams are all located to the west and south of the middle of the island. First up, the Ocean Shiga Blacks. With a record of 36-20-10, they were division champions and had the third best record in the league. They were founded in 2017 and finished last in each of their first 4 seasons, including a really bad 2018 when they finished with a record of 12-52, and an even worse 2020, finishing 7-47-4. But in 2021 they had their first winning season and first division title. Black scored 418 runs, more than any other team. They were first in triples, second in doubles and stolen bases, and third in team batting and home runs. 24-year-old left-handed outfielder Ryota Ikeda led the league in stolen bases and runs scored. Pitching is good too. Team ERA of .390 ranked 4th in the BCL. Starting pitching is the strength. Shiga starting pitchers threw 15 complete games this year, more than double that of the next best team. Seiya Sugahara, a 22-year-old lefty who came over from the Shikoku League, led the BCL in wins, innings, and strikeouts. ERA .250. The Ocean Shiga Blacks play in Shiga Prefecture, one of the smallest prefectures. Moriyama Baseball Field is where you'll find them playing most of the time. It seats 10,000. Second place in the West belonged to the Toyama Thunderbirds. At 35-25-6, they were the best team not to make the postseason. They are a founding member of the league and won their only league title in 2008. They won their second division title in 2020. Tuffy Rhodes, who had a short major league career but a successful NPB career, was a Thunderbird in 2015 and 2016 as a player and coach, long after his NPB career had ended. Francisco Peguero played the 2017 season in Toyama after his time in MLB. After that, he moved up to NPB for the 2018 season, playing for the Marines. The Thunderbirds were the best pitching team in the league with a .337 team ERA. Starting pitchers threw 9 shutouts, more than any other team. 23-year-old lefty Jun Watanabe topped the league with a .230 ERA, and he was in the top 5 in almost every category. But run support was lacking. They were 8th in runs scored, second from the bottom in team batting and home runs, so games had to be won almost entirely by the pitching. Their home is the 10,000-seat Takaoka Seibu Sogo Park baseball field, the newest park in the BCL, just opened in 2015. The Ishikawa Million Stars were the third-place team in the West. They are an original member and 4-time league champion, the last one coming in 2013. They were one of the most successful teams in the league's early years, but have struggled a bit lately. MLB legend Julio Franco, who also spent some time in NPB, was the player-manager for the Million Stars in 2015. In 2021, they were 25-33-12, nowhere near the playoff race. But you cannot blame the pitching. Their .381 team ERA was the league's second best. No pitchers near the top in any categories. The pitching staff was just good up and down. Team ERA leader was Ryusei Takada with a mark of .293. He is straight out of high school and just turned 19 in August. But unfortunately for them, no one could hit the ball. The Million Stars were dead last in team batting and runs scored. Ishikawa is a long prefecture on the west coast that sticks out into the Sea of Japan. The Million Stars can usually be found at the Kanazawa Municipal Baseball Stadium, open since 1990 with a capacity of 10,000. The last team we'll discuss here is the Fukui Wild Raptors. They've been with the league since the very beginning and were known as the Miracle Elephants until 2019. In all their years, they have yet to win a league title, but in 2020 they came close, winning the division title with a record of 43-9-6. This year they were 21-39-12, by far the worst in the West, second from the bottom in team scoring, 8th in team ERA. The one bright spot was 24-year-old right-hander Tadashi Matsunaga. He was second in the league in ERA, third in strikeouts. Fukui is just south and west of Ishikawa. The Wild Raptors can usually be found at Fukui Phoenix Stadium, a 10,000-seat ballpark open since 2008, part of the Fukui City Sports Park. So the 4 playoff teams are the Saitama Musashi Heat Bears, the Gunma Diamond Pegasus, the Shinano Grand Serows, and the Ocean Shiga Blacks. If you want to keep up with it, I'll link the BCL official site in the description. It's all in Japanese, so you at least need to know how to read the team names. And remember the names of those young star players I mentioned here. A lot of them will end up in NPB. Anyway, that's all for this one. Until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya.